Hello friends, welcome you all to another video, and today we are going to continue with the unit number 1, sanction number A, sanction A unit. Hey guys, welcome you all to another video, and today we are going to continue with the unit number 1, literary terms, elegy. So you can see on your screen, elegy is a form of literature that can be defined as a poem or a song in the form of elegiac couplets written in honor of someone deceased. It typically laments or mourns the death of the individual. In Greek and Roman times, elegy denoted any poem written in elegiac matter alternating hexameter and pentameter lines. So hexameter means 6 lines and pentameter means 5 lines. Stanza. The term was also used, however, to refer to the subject matter of change and loss frequently expressed in the elegiac verse form, especially in the complaints about love. In accordance with these latter uses, the Wanderer, the Settler, and other poems in Old English on the transitions of all worldly things are even now called elegies. In Europe and England, the word continued to have a variable application through the Renaissance. John Donne's elegies, written in the late 17th and early 17th century, are love poems. Although they relate to the sense of elegy as lament, in that many of them emphasize mutability and loss. In the 17th century, the term elegy began to be limited to its most common present uses, a formal and sustained lament in verse for the death of a particular person, usually ending in a consolation. Examples are the medieval poems Pearl and Chaucer's Book of the Duchess, Alfred Lord Tennyson's In Memoriam, which was published in 1815 on the death of Arthur Haram, his friend, and W. H. Adams In Memory of W. B. Yeats, which was published in 1914. Occasionally, the term is used in its older and broader sense for somber meditation on moral mortality, such as Thomas Gray's Elegy, written in a country churchyard in 1757. This poem was published, and the Duino Elegies, which published during 1912 to 22 of the German poet Rainer Maria Rilke on the transition both of poets and of the earthly object they write poems about. The dirge is also a versified expression of grief on the occasion of a particular person's death, but differs from the elegy in that it is short, it is less formal, and it is usually represented as a text to be sung. Example are Shakespeare's Full Fathom Five Thy Father Lies and William Collins' A Song from Shakespeare's Cyberline, which was published in 1749. Threnody is now used mainly as an equivalent for dirge and monody for an elegy or dire which is presented as the utterance of a single person. John Milton described these Lycidas, which was published in 1638, in the subtitle as a monody in which the author bewails a learned friend, and Matthew Arnold called his elegy on A. H. Close's Thyrsis a monody in 1866. An important subtype of elegy is a pastoral elegy, which represents both the poet and one he mourns, who is also a poet as a shepherd. The Latin word for shepherd is pastor. This poetic form was originated by Sicilian Greek poet Theocritus, was continued by the Roman Virgil, was developed in various European countries during the Renaissance, and remained current in English poetry through the 19th century. Notable English pastoral elegies are Spenser's Astrophel on the death of Sir Philip Sidney, which was published in 1595, Milton's Lycidas in 1638, Shelley's Adonis in 1821, and in the Victorian age, Arnaud Thyrsis, the pastoral elegies from the Greeks through the Renaissance, develop a set of elaborate conventions which are illustrated here by reference to recitals. Okay, so as you know that the elegy is derived from Greek word elegies, which means song of beloved song, along with the flute. And these are the features of elegy. Usually, elegies are identified by several characteristics of genre, just like a classical epic. An elegy typically starts with the invocation of the muse and then proceed by referencing traditional mythology. It often involves a poet who knows how to phrase thoughts imaginatively in the first person. Questions are raised by the poets about destiny, justice, and fate. The poet associates the events of the deceased and with events in his own life by driving a subtle comparison. This kind of digression gives the poet space to go beyond the main or crude subject to a deeper level where the connotation might be metaphorical. Toward the end, the poet generally tries to provide comfort to ease the pain of the situation. Christian elegies usually proceed from sorrow and misery to hope and happiness because they say that death is just hindrance in their way of passing through the moral state into the eternal state. And elegy is not always based on a plot. So these are the function of for elegy. So elegy is one of the richest literary forms because it has capacity to express emotions that deeply influence people. The strongest of the tools elegy uses, it relies on memories of those who are not more. Most of the poets who wrote elegies were evidently awed by the fruitly by human beings, and how the word completely forgets about the disease at the some point. However, the function of elegy is not as limited as it's thought. Whenever we take a look at elegy examples, what comes to mind are feelings like sorrow, grief, and lamentation. But a study of the Latin elegy tells us otherwise. A great deal of genre created in Western literature was inspired by Latin elegy, which was not always so somber. The most famous elegiac poets in Latin literature, such as Catullus, Ovid, and Propertius, used humor, irony, even slotted narratives into poem and still called them elegies. So, hey guys, this was the elegy. If you have any kind of queries and any kind of questions, you can ask me in the comment section. So, I'm going to solve it. So, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.